7:35, here's one for you. Roger, morning Roger, says I was on a call to my utility company yesterday and asked why the electricity prices have gone through the roof when we have a gas problem through Russia. He couldn't tell me. So why does the gas issue affect electricity? It's bizarre, because most of
gas to make electricity.
Yeah, most of our electricity in this country is generated through burning gas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and Warren doesn't like the idea of these gas bottle heaters that we were talking about earlier. Gas bottle heaters can be very dangerous. When living in Cornwall a few years ago, a share in a cottage. I might have to check that one. It doesn't make any sense at the moment.
Yes.
Probably the way it's been typed out. Sorry about that. I'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that, Warren. But let's be a little bit careful. Let's go through the papers now with former Deputy Research Director of the Free Speech Union, Emma Webb, and chortling broadcaster Pete Price. Morning.
Yeah. I thought it was just me that made mistakes. I love it.
No.
I just can't make any sense of it at all, so we'll move on.
I love it.
Actually, Pete, you've got a nice story about one of Britain's oldest women.
Yes, she's 109 years old, and she's got two grandchildren, 6 great-great-grandchildren, 10 great-great-great-great-grandchildren.
Wow.
She lives in care in Oxford, and the oldest lady in this country is reportedly 113 years old. First of all, happy birthday to this lovely, lovely, lovely lady.
So she's 109?
She's 109, Winifred, so happy birthday to her. I wonder if she'll get the telegram first of all, because there's a changeover.
King Charles telegram.
King Charles telegram, which is great. The reason I picked
You get
this
one
story,
every year after you turn 100.
Yeah, you do, yeah. The reason I picked this story was actually for a serious situation. I'm getting older now and I want to live forever, as we all do. But when you get to the age of 109, and I interviewed a lovely lady at 100 years ago who made me a cup of tea, 100 years old, she just got up and made a cup of tea. But she said the most tragic thing about living as long as this, I lose so many people I love. They lose.
Go to
so there is,
they say.
there is a sad side to this that really upsets me. But I was so pleased to think she's 109. We are living old.
To what does she attribute her long?
Bacon butties and a sleep in.
Bacon butties.
Bacon butties and a sleep in.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always love it when you get
Sign
these.
me up.
Remember years ago, you used to get people saying, "Why are you doing so well at such a great age?" And they used to say, "Well, I have a whiskey every night and a couple of cigarettes." And all that.
But you see, people like this lived, and I'm of that, not of that age, but I'm old. But people like this, we lived when we played out and ate dirt. We didn't have all these coughs and colds because we were just rough and ready, and we ate dripping and stuff like that. I know, but we were pulling faces. We had no money.
Oh, I know, but
We were poor.
bread and dripping and all that.
Oh.
Depends on how good the dripping is and what it was made from.
Oh, well.
From turkey, it was fab. Turkey, what was that?
Done you any harm?
Not done me any harm.
No, Emma, can we talk about Philip Schofield? Because the Sun's got that. I love it.
Front page. So, Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby, I'm sure everyone will have seen, got in a lot of trouble for allegedly queue jumping, something that they deny, and also the channel denies it. They say that they were there to film a programme. Phil has now been axed from his role on the adverts for We Buy Any Car.
I love the inside spread where they've done We Dump Any Star.
They actually claim that this has nothing to do with the queue jump. Is the case or not? But I know that there are a lot of calls for them to be sacked from this morning. A petition has now reached 75,000 signatures.
They're not going anywhere.
No, they're not. As an arch monarchist, I really don't think that they should be fired. I think that all of this that has been kicked up is really disproportionate to
a lot of it's social media hate.
Yeah, and they say that, and the channel says that they weren't skipping the queue, that they were there for work purposes. That may be the case, in which case it's very disproportionate. But even if they had queue jumped, I still think the level of vitriol against them is just more outrage mongering, really.
I'm not their greatest fans in any shape or form, but I think it's disgusting the way they're treated. I think we're living in a horrible society now because of social media. It's got its good points, but I think this is disgraceful. They've done nothing wrong.
Left, right, and centre.
Done nothing wrong.
You do a lot of that.
Absolutely shocking.
Pete, let's talk rail services. You've got down here then.
I said I'd
We were
get down
keeping our
here.
fingers crossed that
It's
you
been a
that you
nightmare.
wouldn't make it.
I was supposed to be doing a gig tonight. They very kindly let me out of the gig because of what's happened. You can't get trains from anywhere. It's chaos. What I think is sad about this particular weekend, thousands of runners will miss the start of the marathon because they have to actually check in at 5:30 today to go. 50,000 competitors. So many charities will make money out of this. You know, small charities. Before anyone starts saying, last time I mentioned it, the money, these big charities, these are small charities. And I think it's very sad. And it doesn't make any sense because I've spoke to some rail people and they don't even know what the strike's about. That was from rail people I met in Liverpool. I got down. There's another rail strike next weekend and one on Tuesday. I mean, it's just chaos. We've just been through a pandemic. I, unfortunately, didn't get any furlough along with millions and millions of people. I believe the rail people did get paid furlough, which I never got anything. So I'm now trying to make a living. I now can't make a living anymore.
Did you ever go at Steve Headley, our RMT man, outside, maybe?
No, he shook my hand and went. No, I tried to, but and he went. And then the telly went off in the middle of the interview.
Oh, did
I
it?
didn't hear everything you said, but I thought you two handled yourself well. I just think it's sad.
I could just imagine the green room. You wouldn't be able to resist having a go at him, but you didn't.
Missed it. Missed it.
At least you didn't barge in.
But it is sad, and I feel sorry for the people who are struggling, and there are so many cases about it. But I mean, the cleaners on the trains deserve getting paid more.
It's also a false economy in many ways because it's harming the economy for everyone, and they are also part of that. And so, if they want public, money to be spent on, the railways or anything like that, demanding higher salaries when we're in a financial crisis and your actions are actually harming the economy that you need to pay you, I think it just seems like a false economy.
But strikes always do that, don't they? I mean, that's why you go on strike. You're trying to make.
They do, but if you're trying to line yourself up for success, then you should probably look at the context in which you're striking.
The only time I went on strike was I was working a place for 10 years and they got rid of me and said I was earning too much money, so I picketed outside. They went bankrupt the week after, but that's another story.
Oh, well.
I was pleased.
All right, if you're making too much money.
I wasn't making too much money. I was making a little bit of money.
Emma, can we look at the Telegraph and the Chancellor? Because he's out promising to bring the economy under control.
Yes, there's an awful lot in today's papers about the economy for obvious reasons because it's been a very chaotic week. It's really been a case of putting the cart before the horse, I think. The Chancellor announcing all of these tax cuts without announcing the reforms and the ways in which they're going to pay for those tax cuts sent the markets into complete disarray. The political communications on this have been absolutely terrible. It's then led to a knock-on political crisis. Now the Chancellor, he also has a comment piece in today's Telegraph as well explaining the reasoning behind this, which I think is actually very justifiable. But like I say, the political communications have just been so bad, and it's actually seems to have led to Labour having a 20 to 33 point lead in the polls as the Conservatives are going into their conference on Monday. And there's just a line I wanted to read out here from Kwasi Kwarteng's piece in the Telegraph justifying their decision with the mini budget. He says, low growth makes it harder to pay for public services. That raises the overall tax burden, which in turn reduces the incentives to work and returns on investment. So this to me seems justified. I'm not an economic expert. But the way in which the government have communicated this has been abominable. Kwasi Kwarteng obviously trying to mend some bridges. How far that will go with the MPs who are now in a mini revolt against Liz Truss, I do not know.
No, and of course, the problem now with politics is, I put it like football managers, lose 2 games, they want them sacked.
Yeah.
There is a crisis, whether we like it or not, and something's got to be done, and it's going to be painful, whatever, whoever.
It is. Look, Emma, Pete, we've got to leave it there, I'm afraid, but we'll catch with you a little bit later on. Thank you.